everybody, Merry Christmas and welcome to the Dice Tower's 12 Games of Christmas. This is a series of 10 videos that we're putting out this week where we take a look at the current market of board games and we're trying to give you some good suggestions for games that you can buy for your loved ones, friends, gaming partners, and yourself for Christmas. Today, list is sponsored by Days of Wonder, by Libellude and Repos Production, 3 amazing studios that make some of the best games that you can buy. So thank you to them, and thank you to all for watching, because today we're talking about advanced strategy. These are the gamer games. Now, we have another list going up today called Strategy. The strategy games are easier to play than the advanced ones, at least we think so. But the fact of the matter is, there's 2 lists, great games on both lists. But if you know someone who's a diehard gamer, these are games that we would recommend that you get for them. These are games that require a lot of thought and, well, a lot of strategy. Here we go.
To start off this list, we're going to talk about Brink. Brink is a space-themed game where you are going to be doing some different elements of mechanisms in the game. You're going to be doing a worker placement type of system where you have 3 different ships and you're going to be placing those onto a shared central board that's going to be made up of these different hexes. And you might also be doing some exploration where if you place one of your ships in an empty quadrant of space, you flip over a new tile and you discover what's there. What you're really trying to do is gather resources at these different tiles, and you're also gaining power where your ships are placed. So that at the end of each of the 3 rounds, you're going to have a voting phase where you're voting on which of the regions are going to score. And so not only are you trying to gather resources, you're also trying to think about which regions you have the most power in so that you can use those resources to vote to make those areas score. Very compelling, thinky game with a remarkably light rule set for a game that has this much going on. Brink is a really, really solid advanced strategy game to check out.
Next up is going to be Endeavor Deep Sea. Now this is a re-implementation of Endeavor Age of Sail, so if you have somebody that likes that game, but maybe is looking for a new theme on it with some streamlined gameplay, this one is a shoo-in. However, if you have somebody that likes more advanced strategy and has never played Endeavor Age of Sail, I think that this is still a great choice. In it, you are going to be delving down into the depths of the ocean, really trying to optimize your turn and the timing elements of that turn. So you want to make sure that you have the right worker with the right skill set available at the right time, and ultimately beat your opponents to that really juicy spot that just lines up perfectly. So you have to think ahead in this game and make sure that all of those things come together, ultimately in order to have the largest conservation score at the end. So it really comes down to turn optimization and efficiency in this game. If that sounds like the strategist that you're thinking of, check out for them Endeavor Deep Sea.
Few games scratch that itch for advanced strategy play quite like Galactic Cruise does. I'm recommending this one as a bigger game. Obviously, it's a big purchase, but for being such a deep strategic game about running your cruise line with great worker placement and bumping out other players, so there's nice elements of interaction. But despite how big and complicated the game is, it also has a fantastic rulebook, a great onboarding process. And so if you want to dive into these heavier type of games, there's few that take away those barriers of entry quite like Galactic Cruise does, and makes for a smoother learning experience while still giving you lots of crunch and lots of depth of gameplay. So, if you're looking for something really nice to give to a friend, Galactic Cruise is up there.
Next up on the list is Galileo Galilei, and in this game you are astronomers who are trying to map the heavens and view all the amazingness that's in the sky, while also keeping the church happy because they might send inquisitors after you. It's some really cool mechanisms of using dice and being able to pip them up and combining colors together to be able to find certain light spectrums. It's a very cool game with lots of fun mechanisms, and I love the theme behind it. So check out Galileo Galilei if that sounds interesting.
Next up, we have House of Fado. While this is a simplification of Vital Lacerda's Galerist, or kind of a re-implementation of a lot of those mechanisms, this game still has a lot going on and some great interplay. It's a worker placement game about running your restaurant and having your Fado musicians, a traditional Portuguese style of music, playing there on the side there of your player board. The restaurant that you own. You're taking actions to build them up and to make them stronger musicians, to market, to bring new people into your restaurant. But There's also a lot of great interplay, a lot of points of interaction, not just with the worker placement and the bumping each other out, especially in a two-player game where you can leave behind the little mini assistant workers. But also, as you level up your musicians, you might send them off to the wider world and get points for kind of being the scout that puts them out there and makes them more famous, or you can keep them in your restaurant performing better and better music. It's up to you how you want to run this House of Fado. So a lot of great choices to be made in this game, and that's why it's on the list.
Kinfire Council is going to be a great choice for people who like worker placement games and building their own slight asymmetry. So you're going to have this group of councilmen that you're sending out into the city to do different errands and complete different tasks. That's going to be everything from going out and getting the resources you need in order to rebuild the lighthouse, or to go out and use their influence to vote on certain city matters. Now, if you win the vote on those city matters, then you're going to get additional bonuses and boons that you can use either in the moment instantly or through the gameplay. You can also go out and invest in different buildings so that then anytime anyone goes there, then you're going to get an income. So a lot of different little errands that you can send these workers out to build into your strategy and ultimately see who has the greatest influence at the end. If that sounds like somebody that you're thinking of that's going to really like kind of building up their own symmetry as best as possible, check out for them Kinfire Council.
We have Pirates of Maracaibo next on our list. This is a follow-up to the basic Maracaibo game, but with a much different changing landscape for the game board because it's made out of cards. So in this, you are pirates and you are doing a ton of engine building. If you want to engine build like crazy, you have card engine building, you have ship engine building, you get to bury treasure after you've absorbed, you've collected it, and then you get to move along paths. So this has tons of fun stuff to do. Tons of engine building. If that sounds interesting to you, you like the pirate theme, you like Alexander Pfister, check out Pirates of Maracaibo.
If you want some cool, brutal, heavy metal-esque theming in your Euro games, then check out Inferno from Red Mojo and Grand Gamers Guild, who's distributing it in the US market. This is a game about inspired by Dante's Inferno, the first act of the Divine Comedy. It's a worker placement game where each turn is in two halves. First, you move souls through the circles of hell, and you try to get bonuses along the way, but as you move those souls, that indicates what type of worker placement action you can do. So the two halves of this game are very intricately connected. The theming has a nice amount of flair in there and everything. Obviously, you got to know who you're buying these gifts for, or for yourself, right? If you like this theme, because it's definitely ever present there, but it is one that is a rewarding game, rich, and I really like the way that it looks and presents itself. A lot of variability with the different monsters that you can choose to use each game. So check out Inferno.
All right, so I don't need to say much about this because this is pretty much game of the year on here. This is SETI. SETI, as far as advanced strategy, is fantastic. There's so much depth in this, whether it's launching probes, the technologies, landing, and there's a lot of variability in the aliens. There's a new expansion that has more aliens. So all I want is more aliens. And on top of that, it's got a strong theme, but in the middle, it's that spinning board. It's got a high replayability on this. It's a Euro game with a really, really deep theme. That is huge for me because I love the mechanics of a Euro, but when you put theme in there, I'm really in. This has it. And you also have that surprise to what alien is going to show up and what ability they have, and it always makes you pivot partway through your game. I love that because I love having games that you can't do the same thing every time and get the same result. You've got to have a little bit of variability, and this gives it to you. And so much depth in this. This is SETI. There's a reason why it's widely acclaimed, because it's great.
Skara Brae is next up, and this is a game for people who like a little bit of interaction and a ton of engine building. So in this, you're building up your village, and you are collecting resources, but instead of the resources being tight, it's more the storage of the resources is tight. So there's this really interesting, unique storage mechanism. The more that you hold on to your resources, the more just kind of gunk that they make. And so you get a lot of wasted space and a lot of stuff you have to clean out. It's just a really interesting game that has just a tiny bit of interaction, but really is a lot of personal board engine building. I think this game is fun, so we definitely recommend Skara Brae for an advanced strategy game.
If you have a gamer on your list that really enjoys tableau building, worker placement, Wondrous Creatures is a fantastic choice. This is a game with an over-the-top gorgeous production where you are going to be placing out your creatures onto a central board, and where you place those creatures are going to be determining the types of resources that you gather. You'll be using those resources to buy cards that you can then play in front of you to give you scoring opportunities, special abilities, maybe some persistent abilities, maybe some instant abilities. There are a huge number of cards in this game, and they all do unique and compelling things. And so in the game, you are really trying to build up as many of these cards as you can, especially ones that work symbiotically with each other, that create combos. If you like that type of game where you've got a card building, tableau building, worker placement, comboific type of play, Wondrous Creatures is a fantastic choice and a really beautiful game on the table.
Our last game for today is Shakleton Base, A Journey to the Moon. This is a phenomenal game that has so much crunchiness in it, and what's really neat about Shakleton Base is you are plugging in 3 different modules. The game itself is about exploring the moon, about building things on the moon. It has some really neat ways in which you place your workers and control different lines and sections of the moon to put out these buildings, and as you put out buildings, you can get things. But then there's modules. Maybe one of the modules is tourism on the moon. Maybe one of them is about something else, and each one has some slightly different rules, and it changes things up. And so it gives you tons of options in a game where the base game itself, as you have these different workers of different colors, and depending on the color, depends on the way the action works. So it gives you a plethora of cool options, but all of them feel crunchy and interesting, and every game has like more depth behind the first. This is a game that is growing in popularity, and it just got a US release this year, and more people are coming into it and just being so impressed with how much is in this game without it, I think, ever feeling terrifically overwhelming. And I think the theme is pretty strong. There's a lot of cool ideas in here, and it has an idea of going to the moon and finding and building a base. There's very strong interaction with the other players as you're trying to cut them off in different spots. But at the same time, you're also building your own little section up. Just a lot of neat things. Check out Shakleton Base. So there you go, folks. 12 advanced strategy games. Like I said, check out our sister list, regular strategy games, that's going up today. But there's a lot of cool games here. And we tried to pick games that are available online that you could get now. So go check them out. Once again, thank you to Repos Productions and to Days of Wonder and to Liblude for sponsoring this show. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you check out their products. They make some amazing games. We also want to say thank you to you all for just sticking by and watching the Dice Tower this year. We hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. Check out our other 9 videos. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is the 12 Games of Christmas. Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching this video. Check out our channel. We have a lot of videos on our channel. We have live videos that go up each week, from live Q&As to videos where we take a look at the newest stuff on Kickstarter, crowd surfing, to top 10 lists and more. There's lots of stuff on this channel. We encourage you to explore it. You can find out more at our website, dicetower.com. I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower.